Hello and welcome to another video for my channel. This is just kind of something I'm trying to make a habit, so I don't want to make every one of my posts have to be this big ordeal of me performing or whatever. I want to just be real and vulnerable with a lot of this stuff too, just because I think it's more fun that way. So today I'm going to talk about why I'm writing as much as I am, and hopefully I can help some of you guys out. So one of my biggest missions in my whole life, and just what I've really done most of my work towards, has been to uncover kind of loopholes in the system of life and our own minds and how that all works. And I'll be more specific with this. My first book that I ever released, the one-year diploma, I discovered a loophole in the college system via CLEP exams, DSST exams, straight online courses, and now you have free study sources like modernstates.org, which will literally pay for these. And I discovered that you can literally use them as transfer credits to test out of most of your degree. So I tested out of about 78 credit hours worth of my bachelor's degree. So I got my bachelor's in about a year and 4 months, a year and 6 months, because I took a 2-month break in the middle of it, but only a year and 4 months of classes. And so I spent a total of about 15 grand in total on my degree, and then I used the extra funds to go and travel for a bit and have some fun. I apologize, I'm sweating so much. It's 102 degrees and humid today, and I have my air conditioner here trying to keep me cool a little bit. But so yeah, since I've written the one book, the first one-year diploma book, I've done a ton of YouTube videos on CLEP exams and how they all work and all of that stuff. You can access that all. It's called Old World Productions and Publishing is the name of the YouTube channel. And so yeah, hopefully that can help you guys. So I have my 2 books. The next one is the Roadmap and Core Curriculum, which I released back in January. I think it was January. It was either January or February, I can't remember. But I released it, and it has detail by detail breakdown of all the steps you need to do to maximize the amount of credits you can transfer into your bachelor's degree. In total, there is a possibility to test out of all of your bachelor's degree, literally meaning you can spend under 10 grand if you really map this out correctly. It's very hard to do that. In the book, I outline the most common route, which is about a $20,000 bachelor's degree, which is what most of my students have attained. Now, this can be in any field: business, marketing, history, English, psychology, like you name it. It doesn't matter which degree it is, because most bachelor's degree systems, they spend the first 2 years just teaching you the same stuff you learned in high school. So yeah, so now I'm also switching over a little bit into book writing as well. I have been a screenwriter for about 8 years now, just pursuing the industry as an actor, as a director. I've made multiple films. Those films have won awards, and at the end of the day, I started to realize it's like, who really gives a shit? Who cares if you have a laurel on your poster? Who cares if people think that you're good or whatever? It's not about that to me. I want to make a living off my work, obviously, and kind of the way to do that is to make feature films. And to produce a feature film, you need financing. So it kind of left me in this loop for a long time, just going after people with money, saying, hey, film financier, can you please give me money? And they're like, haha, no, because you're not famous. And so that's kind of kept running in circles, doing that over and over again, and keep upping my script, trying to make it better, and then presenting it. They don't even look at the script, they don't even read it, they don't care, because they're too preoccupied with their business and doing their own world. And I totally get it, it totally makes sense. This industry is all about fame and notoriety, and it's, do you have the name? Do you have the follower count? Yes or no? And that's what really matters at the end of the day to most of these people who have the money. And I even had a guy at Netflix read one of my scripts, which has scored 8s on the Blacklist. It's won tons of feature screenplay awards. It's literally won an award on 5 out of 7 continents. I personally have won 6 out of 7 continents. I will be making an Antarctica Film Festival one day. Just why not? If I can afford it and if I live that long. Who knows? Maybe I won't. But yeah. So it's done really well. It scored 8s on the Blacklist, which is a very, very big deal for those of you who don't know. And this guy at Netflix, he reads the script, he gets back to me a couple weeks later, and he goes, Mason, I need you to understand this. I've been in Hollywood for 30 years, and this is one of the best screenplays I've ever read. I was like, great, you want to finance it? He goes, no. I was like, why? He goes, you're not famous. I can't make money off of you. And he hung up the phone. And at the time, it really hurt me. And it was something that was just like, it was a huge ego wound. Like, oh God, like, I have no chance. It's like, I just spent hundreds of hours working on this screenplay, and they don't even give a shit. Even though they know it's good, they don't care. And that was back in 2023. And I, since then, have promoted that screenplay a ton. I have worked very, very hard to make people know and be aware of it, and giving out pitch decks. None of it matters, because to them it's about viability, and I totally understand this, and I hope any other filmmaker out there who might be struggling can also understand this, that they either want to buy your script from you and take it away and go do their thing with it, which I personally don't really want to do. I'm not really for that. I've seen that go wrongly so many times. So that's not really what my desire is personally. You can have your own opinions about that. It's whatever. But I've always wanted to create my own films, and you need financing to do that. And so I just decided, you know what? What matters to me is that these stories are at least out in the world. I've written 17 stories in total over the past 7 years, outside of my one-year diploma books, and I am now releasing them all bit by bit. A large portion of them, about 12 of them, are short stories. Those are all going to be incorporated into the American Fairy Tale series, and then the other 5 are feature screenplays, which vary in length from like novelette to novel length in total, and then the final 3, which have only been outlined at this point, I'm going to save and not mention what those are until the time comes. But they are my pièce de résistance, if you will, he says with a little bit of a porn stash. Yeah, so the 2 that I most recently released are called The Mancini Dealership and The Narcissist of Nubble Lighthouse. Both of them you can access on Amazon. I would love it if you would be willing to give a review to both of them. But I have always been trying to write from a psychological perspective as to why people make the choices that they do. And so each of the characters I'm basing from places of choice and decisions and why they interact in the way they do. So the main character in Mancini Dealership, Mia, she struggles to be honest with how she feels with people. And so what she does is she lets it all sit in until she overwhelms and throws it all up. And when she does that, she creates a lot of problems for herself. So she has to learn how to kind of be honest and vulnerable with her family and work through that. Now, this is all fronted through a mob-style film in the idea of Martin Scorsese, with Goodfellas, The Bronx Tale, and The Godfather, and Francis Ford Coppola. So, that a large portion of that is based off of my love for mob movies. I have been in love with mob movies since I was 14. My mom, she's from New York, and my grandparents are from Queens. So they really showed me a lot of New York stuff, and I played a mobster in my high school play of it was called Resurrection Remixed. It was a adaptation, a modern adaptation of the Jesus story, where I played King Herod as a New York mobster. My key line was multiply the sandwich. So it was a fun time. And the other one, The Narcissist of Nubble Lighthouse. The Narcissist of Nubble Lighthouse is actually a story I wrote up while I was visiting Maine. It was my first time in Maine, and it was a really fun time, and it's very relaxing. But I was really obsessed with the Notes from the Underground by Fyodor Dostoevsky, which is about a guy who basically lives in solitude and thinks he's smarter than everybody else. And so that's this character. Is he thinks he's brilliant, and he falls in love with this girl in town, and becomes kind of obsessed with her. And the way he treats people and the way he acts, he pushes everybody away from him because he's so egocentric and focused on himself. And it's more of a cautionary tale on how things can go awry. So both of those will be having audiobooks be released very shortly. I worked with a very talented actress to play the villain of The Mancini Dealership, Carla Rose Dubois. She did a killer job playing Carmela Mancini, and so we'll be releasing some clips of those coming up. And yeah, if you have any suggestions or ideas of maybe stories that you learned in life that are meaningful to you, that I can maybe incorporate into certain characters in the story, I'd love to talk to you and hear your perspective and hear what resonates with you. So yeah, let me know. I'd love to hear more information. And yeah, have a great day, guys.